Abby, where are you starting off the conversation?
All right, here we go. If you were able to choose a kid that is most likely to commit among the 4 and 5 stars that visited last weekend, who would it be?
Carter Nelson, I think, is a logical one.
Whoa, really?
I mean, where's he going to go? Like, you think he's going to go to Notre Dame over Nebraska?
It's a good question. Okay, so it's really fascinating what he's doing up in the first part of April.
Easter weekend,
5 SEC schools in 6 days. I'm just saying, Sean, he seems very open to the idea of going somewhere.
I just have a hard time seeing Nebraska get beat, mainly for his family's sake. You know, their coaches, teachers, educators, like how in Ainsworth, you know, to go watch him play, it's not going to be easy to get to Lincoln.
Remember what his dad said, though? He said, where they're from, it's always going to be a distance to see him. Yeah. So why does it matter? See, I don't know that. And here's the thing to say, and you've said this, they play it really close to the vest. Whew, they choose their words carefully. Carter Nelson and his father do. You can't tell. He doesn't let you tell what's going on.
I like Gage Ginther, the chance. And we're going to talk more about some of these recruits in the next segment, but
offensive tackle from Fort Collins.
You know, Andrew Sprague had some great comments for Brian Munson. He's very high on the staff. His coach did. Kelly Donahoe, O'Neill, Nebraska native at Rockhurst High School, a head coach there, coached the Davis twins at Blue Springs as well. So I don't know anyone else. I mean, I think they made a lot of ground with Frazier. I really do.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't regard Nathaniel Frazier as a long shot. I mean, I think they're in the. I think they'll. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back for an official. You know, I mean, come on, it was real what you saw and what you heard.
I think if you're Nebraska, you strategize now to get some of these guys back for the spring game.
Absolutely.
Then you get them back in June for an official.
Mm-hmm. That's basically what Rule said. It's the plan. It's like, we're not recruiting these guys. Like, we weren't like actively recruiting these guys. We were just showing them what we're all about, what it's like to be here, take in a practice, see how we operate on the field, see how guys operate in the locker room, to see what the campus vibe is, and set that tone and that foundation to come back. Yeah. And the guys that come back, that's when you really start to get serious about possible.
Rob's right. He did say that. We don't, he said we don't have fancy lines, and we just show them what it is. It's fascinating. Rules, man, I mean, Rule is, you got to listen to him, because the more he says, the more interesting he gets to me.
You remember Phil Almatian?
Yeah.
He had a line about recruiting at Nebraska and anywhere in general, actually. And he said, look, you get him here once, good. You get him here twice, you're in really good shape. You get him back for a third visit, you darn near have to, and I can't use the word on the radio, mess it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. To
That's
not
what you're
get
trying
him.
to do with these guys.
So you get them back for the spring game, a couple of these guys. Then you get them back in June for an official. That's how you win. You get them here 3 times in 3 months.
Yeah. I mean, why not Gatlin Bear? I mean, I think they got a shot at Gatlin Bear. It sounds like it.
The problem is when Gatlin Bear starts playing college football, Sip, you might be living in Florida by that point.
Yeah, I doubt it, the way things are going right now. But
he's going to miss 2
I'll be working for you till I'm 80, probably, if you don't mind.
Good. I need you.
Gatlin Bear sounds. Now, I hope people understand he's going on a mission. I mean, Gatlin Bear.
I've got a ton of respect for him too. I mean,
right away he's going on a mission
to give up everything he has right now for what he believes in and go on. I mean, that takes a ton of discipline and dedication, and that's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, the guys we talked to, they can't really feign interest. You could hear the interest. Go ahead, Ann.
All right, next one. What's the max number of post-spring transfer portal targets you expect, and same with post-spring departures?
Go ahead, guys.
Well, they got to have about 15 departures still.
Yeah.
I would say they need 15 departures, so they have to have 15. But I would say 2 to 3 transfer additions.
Yeah. Rob?
With the lines being the priority.
I hope so.
You would think, especially with the talk about the limited numbers on the O-line, like that's a group that probably could add a piece or two, maybe a potential starter or two. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, that's the first thing, like Sean said, they got to create some room before they take anybody at this point.
They're almost at 100 still right now.
See, yeah, after the spring game, we'll stay busy. I mean, there's going to be a lot of news. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of news.
Off-season.
The portal's open for 2 weeks.
We don't need an off-season. Yeah, there you go. So there'll be news popping. I don't know what kind of name, like if there will be recognizable, everybody's recognizable in this market, I guess, but big name players going into the portal from Nebraska. Do you envision that?
Yeah, and even like
Could be a big quarterback. I mean,
Yeah,
you could see one of those
maybe a
quarterbacks
running
go.
back.
Yeah,
some DBs. That's a big room right now.
it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of DBs.
Good point, Rob.
So,
Yeah, those rooms you really quarterback room you got to watch. All those guys are big names. Scholarship
linebacker.
quarterbacks.
There's some linebackers there
Is there
in that
Yeah.
lower level group.
freshmen, sophomores,
The early
sophomores?
there's 4 guys there that you don't really see
name
much
them.
of a roadmap for.
Right.
And if that's how they see it after the spring, what's their thought going to be?
Yeah. 15 is a pretty big number.
It's
It is.
all right, Abby. What do you got next?
If Nebraska lands Dylan Raiola, who should his top 3 or first 3 targets be to join him as a Husker?
Not good enough.
Brandon Baker, Ryan Wingo, Williams,
Okay.
and Barney.
Those are good.
That'd be about. but
That was
that's
easy.
Those are good names.
those all make sense. But Nathaniel Frazier, I don't know if he really knows Dylan, but I do know Brandon. I mean, you saw our own Hayes Fawcett, the famous Hayes Fawcett with Husker fans, had a great edit that he put out on his social media channels, and Megan can probably find that. It's Brandon Baker with Dylan Raiola, the two of those guys together, and they're I don't want to say they're in cahoots, but they communicate.
Yeah, I hope people understand. If Nebraska got Brandon Baker, I mean, that would almost be, can I say this? Almost be as big as getting Dylan Raiola.
The number one, because Brandon
He's the number
Baker,
1 offensive tackle in the country.
he could come in and take your. I mean, I don't want to say left tackle because there'll be veteran guys back in the program
Yeah,
next
there will.
year, but he could be like a right tackle immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be monumental to get him. Yeah, I probably went too far with that.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
All right.
You're talking about a Husker legacy, arguably the best quarterback in the country.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, if they got Brandon Baker, because even Brandon and I talked, and Nebraska wasn't even on the radar. And it was the Raiolas that put Nebraska on the radar for him, just like, told him more about the program and just things about the program and just the way linemen. I mean, I think Brandon Baker found it fascinating that both the Outland Trophy dinner and the Remington Trophy dinner, the 2 award winner dinners for offensive linemen, hold their banquets in the state of Nebraska.
Yeah, here.
I mean, it's pretty.
And he's a cerebral guy. That kind of stuff would make more of an impression on him than some. We sat across from him.
Oh yeah,
didn't he strike you as very intelligent?
He asked a lot of detailed questions like, do you like living in Nebraska? Like he just was like really curious about Nebraska. You could tell and I think when they first got here, they were a little but I think after a full day or 2 here, a lot of their thoughts have changed. And that's typically what happens.
I know. Yeah, they're always not all of them, but many of them are always a little surprised. See, we're down in the Haymarket. That's where our offices are. And Frazier just kept looking. Frazier just kept looking out that window.
I noticed that too.
Yeah, Frazier kept looking out the window. I think they're sort of amazed by what they see.
It's kind of why I open the windows at night too, because the light's not a problem. Like, it looks cool to see the hay, and Frazier just kept looking during the whole interview.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we're in a really good spot.
I'm not we might have one of the best views in the Haymarket from our office window, and I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah, it goes right down there. You can
just
see
right down the street.
Yeah.
All right, Abby, we have time for 2 more.
Okay. Looking at pictures from today's practice, it seemed like more future Huskers and recruits are checking out practice before they join the team. Has that changed from the previous years?
I mean, I would say there's a much more steady stream every practice.
Every day. 5 practices, 5.
Will said they've had recruits on campus every day since the
start of
the
spring.
recruiting period opened.
Tuesday's group wasn't by any means high profile. Riley Van Poppel was there as a signee.
Mm-hmm.
Malachi Coleman was there. Brady Bookset from Elkhorn South was there. He's, doesn't have any offers. I mean, you had a Minnesota lineman there with no offers, but they're getting guys here and to evaluate, to visit with, to let them see things. There's been a lot of high school coaches and Rule, and I've heard him speak to the local coaches. He's very open about letting them in. And he said, I have what I call an open campus policy, meaning my campus, my practices, my workouts, they're open to you. Meaning if you want to come in, you call my staff, tell them you're so-and-so, so-and-so, and you can come in and you can watch my workouts, my practices. I don't care if it's a Friday before a game. You can come.
Wow. See, now the interesting thing will be to see if that continues once there's some losses and it's rough. Because it gets rough for everybody.
Or if, these anonymous detailed message board reports start coming out.
Right.
And
he's probably unaware of that sort of thing here. Now, what happens when that happens?
Now he is.
Yeah, now.
Because he hasn't gotten to the heat of it.
Not the heat. See, that's what it'll be interesting to see if that in year 5, if he's here, that we're talking about the same.
Because there is an underground element of Nebraska football.
Oh, yeah.
That is different than almost anywhere imaginable.
Yeah, and it is. And
it's
Sean, we've been around. Rob's been around.
It's freaky. I mean,
yeah, Rob's been around a long time. We've all been around a long time. So people don't come at us and say, "Oh no, come on, it's like that." No, it's not. It's really not.
No, and people that come here from other places say that to you too.
Yeah. So I don't know that Rule knows about it yet. I mean, he's got to find out.
Yeah, and it's one thing to be told about it, but until like
the honeymoon,
you are the subject of those underground posts and rumors and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, life changes.
I mean, people's character and names get
killed,
and a lot of it's not even true,
right?
Which is interesting. All right, final question of the mailbag.
All right, so we have the Final Four is set. Who do you think will be in the national championship?
UConn's going to win it all, right? I mean, isn't that the pick right now?
You would think.
Yeah.
I'll be rooting for Florida Atlantic.
I want Florida
just for
Atlantic.
the story. And man, they're playing.
They're good.
Miami's balling too, though.
Yeah, I
It's hard to pick
shouldn't
against
portray UConn as a complete slam dunk, but they're the lowest seeded team left. They were ranked number 1 for a good share of the season.
I think they're the most complete team remaining.
They're huge.
When Miami's playing to its full potential, they are up there, right up there with it. But they've kind of been a little volatile. Right now they've been peaking, so I just wonder, can they sustain that?
Sean knows how I am about size. I'm not big on small football and basketball players. They have their place in the world. I get it. There's exceptions to everything, but look at UConn's roster. They have one player under 6'2". 11 guys are 6'4" or taller. They go with 6'9", 7 foot in the lineup. Well, they bring that 7-footer off the bench, but he's prominent. They're huge. I mean, it's a huge roster. It's 6'4" or taller, 11 guys. When they walk out on the court, that's what it should look like, in my opinion.
The Final Four field, though, I joked to Rob, and it looks more like a field that you would see play in like some multi-team event.
The Maui Invitational.
Not even the Maui Invitational, like the one that's
not even good enough. Yeah,
like the one that's in Orlando or the Orleans Arena in Vegas. It's fascinating. You got 2 Adidas schools there, though, which is big for Adidas.
Who are they?
Florida Atlantic and Miami.
Those are Adidas schools.
And
interesting.
Just real quick, I don't know if we're going to get time in it. News just broke. Nebraska is going to host Arizona transfer point guard Kerr Kriisa on an official visit beginning today, Tuesday, till tomorrow, Wednesday.
Is that right? He
is the reigning Pac-12 leader in assists, averaged just under 10 points per game, shot 37% from 3. Had kind of some volatile stuff with injuries and, missed time and whatnot, but some notable transfer news. Finally, I know people have been asking a lot about
ask you every
when
day
Nebraska is actually going to start hosting some visitors. Well, here's a big one right off the bat.
Okay, good one. What's the name again?
Kerr Kriisa.
Okay, thank you, Rob.
All right.
Estonia.
When do you think he'll make a decision?
I don't know. He just visited West Virginia this weekend. He's here in Nebraska. We'll see if he takes any more visits.
Because a lot of the portal guys don't.
Maybe 2-3 visits for a transfer.
Yeah,